We got uh this is Iron, Ranmilia, and the Smitty. Let me get that set up here.
Great. And so looking at the iron standings right now, Cotty is in first place with Smitty in second. However, if Smitty wins this match, Smitty will shoot up to first place. And Smitty has been doing really well this season. Only one loss so far, and then the rest a nice mix of wins and draws. Ranmilia, a little bit lower on the scoreboard, has been taking a lot of losses, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're not a good opponent here. Renmilia is definitely someone who studies the game a lot, watches a lot of streams, watches casts often, spectates, and is always in Discord. So with Renmilia, I think it's just a case of, maybe a lack of experience in game. But this definitely isn't a match that Smitty will necessarily, be able to let his guard down on.
All right, let me make sure I got everything ready here. All right, so I got picks and bans. Excuse me. Let me just look at them real quick. All right, so the first ban out of Ranmilia is Modern.
Interesting. Renmilia definitely does targeted bans, so it's safe to say that Renmilia felt that this was a map that Smitty would be particularly good at.
And then once again, we get another Tayan ban, unfortunately.
People just don't like Tayen unless
Yeah.
they do like Tayen, and then they will pick Tayen all the time.
Yeah,
Ooh.
that's just a standard ban from Smitty. Bans Tayen more than any other map.
And we will be seeing 4 more games of Gallery.
Oh god, it's back.
Yeah, it's Gallery Day apparently.
Yeah, we've had a lot of Gallery being picked this season, I
Yeah,
believe.
yeah, I think
So.
it was Gallery is one of those maps. I feel like not a lot of people liked it when it was first introduced, and it grew on a number of us.
Yeah, and
I've always liked it.
this looks to be another counter pick from Ranmilia because Smitty actually has fairly low stats on Gallery compared to many other venues. So it looks like Ranmilia is trying to get an edge here with their pick.
Yep. The first pick, the next doubled map from the Smitty is High Rise.
High Rise, our first 3 of 5 venue, it looks
Yep.
like, huh?
Yes, and this is a map that both players seem comfortable with. They both pick it pretty often.
Yep. All right. We are going to hopefully, if we get this far, generally we do see some aquarium,
Nice.
and then the final pick, the still one of the most popular maps or venues, whatever you want to call them, library.
That makes
Yep.
sense. Library is something that they both pick pretty often, and I believe it's Renmilia's most comfortable map. So I think they might have been playing a little bit of library chicken there. They both
Yep.
wanted it.
Library chicken and waffles. If this chicken and waffle chat keeps going here.
All right.
All right, and I am good to go. Let me just transition here. Boom.
Great. And so first spy is Ranmilia as, is it plain
I
twin?
believe
Yes,
it's
it is
yep. It
plain
is the
twin.
planar twin. All right.
3, 2, 1, playing it. Yeah, Ranmilia is definitely issuing a challenge here to Smitty by picking one of the maps that Smitty has the lower win rates on compared to other maps. And Ranmilia does a lot of targeted opponent strategies. They're someone who does a lot of research on their opponents. We're immediately starting off with a green purloin over at the painting pad here. It was visible on screen. It's just a question of if Smitty was looking out for it, thinking that someone might purloin from that spot.
Yeah, and immediate take, unfortunately, no bouncing around here. However, it is done, mission done, and that means we got a lot of progress for this early in the game.
And it looks like Disney gets a highlight, probably for being the one to take the list. It was a little bit of a delayed highlight, which indicates to me that Smitty may have been a little bit confused about what just happened or may have been thinking about it. But there's no highlight on Ramilia, which suggests that they might have gotten away with this purloin clean. We entered this conversation, we bugged the ambassador while standing. Even though the ambassador was one spot away from us, we were close enough to be able to get a bug here. Probably not seen. Duke would have been covering our arm.
Yeah, that's 2 hard tells done already without a highlight, and the odds of winning this game are just so high for Ranmilia right now. Getting like 1 hard tell is enough to complete. 2 hard tells, especially without any suspicion, that's enough to just get away with everything. The sniper has no idea you were a ghost.
Yeah, and it looks like we're going for the briefcase. It might be Ranmilia's plan to avoid doing statues just to really slip by totally under the
Well, yeah, well,
radar.
we've already got 2 hard tells, and that's more than enough to get out of statue range. We just need to flirt in contact at this point. So
Yeah,
I don't see the point in the
unfortunately, the
briefcase.
briefcase didn't have a fingerprint on it. Yeah, if Ranmilia was able to get a print there, they could have gone for a game without statues and without contact. But at this point, with both of those hardtails done, it shouldn't be too hard to get 2 last missions done either way.
Yeah, but as I mentioned last set, flirt and contact on gallery. Why?
Yeah, we are actually struggling to make progress with it. We haven't been able to get a contact. We're in this conversation, but there's really nothing for us here, so we leave.
Double
We're going to
agent might be
chase
joining
Duke to the
us.
paintings, but we're too late to get there. Duke was already standing there for a while. Now the question is, do you follow Alice, the double agent, outside, or Duke, the seduction target, to the back? Which one is Ranmilia going to choose? Looks like they choose Duke, the seduction target.
Oh, we just walked right in front of the ambassador. I think that it's easily seen that we didn't bug, but we don't get the full flirt done, unfortunately. Only 83%. One more flirt will do it from anywhere, 17% being the smallest flirt you can do. Double agent joins us. It's lining up well.
Yeah, that's lining up really well. If the double agent stayed outside, it would have been really, really hard for us to complete here. But now with 30 seconds left, we should be able to get the contact and then have the flirt timer run
Banana
out
bread.
and get another flirt. Contact is
Yeah.
coming off. The front conversation is pretty empty. It's not really an ideal situation for a contact, but SmidDy not
We're,
taking all the lowlights available and just shoots Disney, who I believe is the one who took that list right at the beginning. And that makes a
yeah.
lot of sense because Ranmilia was just going under the radar, no real reason to be suspicious of the twins, so you just take a shot on the one person who could be done if they were the one who white purloined, but they weren't.
Yeah, and we were throwing from that conversation to reset our flirt cooldown. Luckily, it wasn't necessary to make that little awkward flirt happen, and Ranmilia takes the first game.
Nice, Ranmilia's pick of gallery working out in their favor for this first game.
Yeah, and that means we're moving on into SmidDy's spy side in 3, 2, 1, playing it. And we saw a perfect example of why flirt and contact are so difficult on gallery.
We are
And I
requesting a drink from Toby. We may be wanting to purloin, but we reject it.
just
That
innocent reject.
It's interesting to
As
request
Ow.
and then reject, but maybe just decided once Toby came over to us that it wasn't a good time to purloin after all.
Yeah, and I will pound it into the heads of anyone who will listen. Flirt contact really difficult. That's why I like this early flirt here from from the SmidDy. Getting 34% done. Green would have been really nice, but 34% is the best you can hope for usually. So, we also take out the green book. So might want to be doing something with that soon.
Yeah, it's a potential good time to microfilm. The ambassador was out in front, so Ranmilia's attention may have been out there and not necessarily noticing which shelf Boots was at.
Yeah, and it's I heard the saying recently, and I know it to be true. The laser doesn't tell you where the sniper is looking, the party does. And in this case, the party was outside with the ambassador. So SmidDy's maybe not gonna go over to the case to dump this?
No, we're just waiting at the window, maybe
Now
deciding
we
if we
are.
want to go in, and we do. We're going to put it away. The sniper laser is not on us, which indicates that we're not suspected for it. We don't even read for the proper amount of time. We put it away really quickly. I'm not sure about that decision since you were pretty visible there, so it's not like you could hide putting the book in,
Yeah, but
but we got away with it.
yeah, so it's the risk reward of am I going to be punished more for a microfilm here, or am I going to be punished more because I have broken some etiquette? And I think in this case, the Smitty correctly identifies the fact that, hey, I don't think I'm going to get punished for this etiquette, so I'm just going to slam this book right back in here and get out of here before I can really be noticed that something's wrong.
Yeah, and then we went over to statues. We got our first set of inspect and our first fingerprint. So that is setting us up for a potential contactless game here if we finish the seduce, the inspect, and another fingerprint. But like you were saying, we are running out of time. We have less than a minute and a half, and we do need to flirt at least two more times.
Yeah, and that's early flirt. It's nice, but you kind of have to keep up the effort if that's going to continue to move into the later stages of the game. We
Yeah,
do
and you were
pick up a
talking about
second
breaking
statue.
etiquette, and in this case, that's sort of what we did. We entered that conversation in the front and we left it pretty quickly because there was nothing going on there. We're getting our second inspects done. It was a statue with your back to the sniper, so could have even been suspected for finishing with insect swap, but we didn't get shot for that. But are we going to be able to finish this seduce? Is the twin entering conversation? Yes, twin enters right next to us. And that could have been a really good call from Smitty. It could have been possible to see where the twin was pathing and
Yeah,
anticipate it and stand next to them.
that's definitely something it's definitely a skill to be able to predict where an AI is going to land by the way they are pathing. However, we still need a fingerprint and we still need a seduce, and we've only got 15 seconds left, and there's just not that much
The
time. I don't
ambassador
know.
is right here near us. We could take a bug opportunity. We have to do something or we're going to time out, and it looks like that's what's going to happen. Are we going to purloin and then try to finish our flirt? No, we're
Perhaps a
rejecting the drink.
bug. I think
Committing
I
to the
think we might just
timeout.
yeah committing to the timeout. Except we're going for a bug right at the end, and
I think Smitty may have lost track of how many missions were done.
That's definitely possible. I mean, if you bug like that with 3 seconds left, you're trying to finish. There's no reason to do that if you know that you're going to time out anyway. So it could be that Smitty lost track.
Yep.
yeah.
Either way, and there was unfortunate end.
And Ranmilia goes up 2-0.
Yeah, and Ranmilia saying in chat that Boots was the top suspect, primarily just for the statue visits, doing a 2 cycle and then a 1 cycle. So it looks like Ranmilia was on top of that and is up 2-0 right now, despite being the underdog.
Yeah, and we'll get into the second half of Gallery with Ranmilia's Spy in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
And Ranmilia starting this one off with an early statue visit, going to the statue with their back facing to the sniper, which is ruling that statue out as a potential inspect swap finish later.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't think we take the swap, but I think that we might have actually been able to take that swap without getting caught for it. It's one of those instant swaps that if you just spawn right on top of the statue, you'll be able to get it. 51% flirt, though, very strong here.
But we did just get highlight here. I'm not sure if it was a delayed, if that was a highlight for statues, or if it was a highlight for entering the conversation.
I believe we picked it up after we left the statue pad, so it should be a highlight for statues.
And Ranmilia definitely learning the lesson about gallery progress, moving over here, probably looking for the double agent. We try to bug the ambassador as we're walking by them, but that type of bug is hard to succeed with because you're walking in opposite directions and neither of the characters are particularly slow.
There's just not much time where you're actually close enough to take that bug. And
we take the contact and we split. The front conversation wasn't very full, and the back one neither. So there are lowlights available, but we get a low light.
Yeah, and that means Ranmilia is free to just kind of go wild in this game. Lots of good progress early. We did pick up that ever difficult contact pretty early on here. So if we get the second flirt done and just complete with that, we're a little bit too far away for that though, unfortunately. So we're just gonna go for 3 flirt, looks like.
Yeah, and it's easy for me to criticize how many people were out of conversation, but the lesson we've learned on gallery is that you should take the contact when you have it. So it's really good for Ranmilia to have that done here. And the question is, does Ranmilia believe that they are high-lit or low-lit at this point? We're purloining the list. It's a white test.
Is one way to die here.
We are low-lit, though. Yeah. Oh, no, we come back up to a highlight for it, and that's really good from Smitty realizing that some of those lowlights could have been potential splitters and, bringing Teal back up instead of just writing her off and saying, oh, someone else must have griefed it.
Yeah, and that means that we're right back in the mix as potential suspects. And as the green pearl owner, we still need to finish that flirt, and suddenly it looks much more perilous. We need to go outside, get that flirt done, and
Yeah,
then go inspect, I
should be
suppose.
the flirt should be easy to get away with, but then when you go back to statues, when you're already a highlight for Purloin, that could induce a shot.
Yeah. So Ranmilia properly sipping their drink entirely before going outside, not going to
Are we
act
going to
like
bug the
a.
ambassador again here? We
Oh.
try it, but they start walking away, and this one is very visible and gets a shot.
Yeah, really unfortunate for Ranmilia here. Just play a standard game, maybe an inspect swap finish could have just been super strong. Even fingerprints, if there are enough sitting around, could get you there to the missions without getting shot. But instead, we get shot for the bug after being brought back up to a highlight.
Yeah, and the
And
ambassador walks away as we're doing it, and that means the arm is completely
Yeah.
visible, waving right at the sniper, right at the front of the venue.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like even if the ambassador didn't walk away, a highlight against a low-lit ambassador is also fairly visible, and I think TheSmiddy was watching pretty carefully.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
unfortunate not to be able to pull it out after getting that early low light in mission progress, but
Yep.
that's how it goes sometimes.
Yeah, purlining tends to catch notice even if you're low light, and Smitty possibly was aware that most of those low lights were, like soft, I guess.
yeah, and so we'll move on with Smitty trying to bring it back to a tie on the last game of Gallery in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Smitty controlling hair, also known as Oprah or Red Dress this time. The AI was bringing us out front, but there isn't much here, so it looks like we're just going to spend a moment at the window and then head inside. We do have the ambassador here, but we're choosing not to take a bug. It would have been very easy to see that.
Well, interestingly enough about that bug, the ambassador feels very safe outside right now. There's like pretty much no one else outside, and in fact, right now there's literally no one else outside.
Ooh, we got
So
highlit. We did that thing where we go to a statue pad while someone else is already there, and then we walk away when we realize we're not able to inspect. That is something that the AI do, and against some snipers, you could get low lit for it or just have them lower your suspicion. But instead, it looks like Ranmilia is very aware of the tactic, might have thought we were trying to flirt while we were doing that.
yeah, in this case, we actually did get a flirt. It just wasn't with pearls. It was with Smallman on the other side of the statue pads. So we only get 17%, not a green for the flirt. So it's a little bit of progress, but it's not that much. And Smitty just white purloins it. Oh no, and that's just a
Oh, wow,
shot.
we got shot. Yeah, and I was about to say that was a really interesting way to get the flirt because, yeah, I saw that we were with pearls and I thought, oh, we're not flirting with pearls, but we were flirting with the person on the other side, and
Yeah,
that could work in your favor if the sniper thinks, all right, Hare
if
was
they
trying to
decide to
flirt with
parry you.
pearls,
Yeah.
and then you
And
never go near pearls again, and it's like, oh, I guess it was nothing.
how it usually goes with that is if you leave fast enough, the sniper knows you could not have flirted. However, if you stay there just long enough, it looks like it could be a possible flirt, and it becomes more suspicious. Um,
Yeah, well, in order to flirt, you have to stay there the time needed to flirt. So,
yeah, exactly.
All
but
right,
the
and
white
with that,
purloin made
we're
it a
moving on
non-factor.
to high rise here. Ranmilia being nice to me and picking red dress makes it a lot easier on me. I don't have to find the next character.
Great, and that's Ranmilia going 3-1 on their counter pick.
Yeah, the definitely working out here so far for Ranmilia. See if they can continue the streak
All right,
here
and
on
let's
High
take a
Rise.
quick look at the what they've selected
Yes, the
and
missions.
deselected. Looks like
These
the
missions
most
are very standard.
the most standard deselecting all the hardtails except for bug, which is pretty common. So yeah,
All right.
I'm ready when you guys are.
Go ahead.
Yeah. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
And it looks like the AI is immediately controlling us over to a bookcase here. We
Completely not suspicious at all.
AI controlled. Yeah, I mean, going to a bookcase when microfilm is off is a good way to lose suspicion. And we're staying AI controlled here. Looks like we don't plan on taking this book out, so All
We
right.
don't want to have the AI take it out for us. We take control here. Ambassadors does walk up next to us, but we don't take the bug. It would have been seen probably. So good choice by Ranmilia to keep it low key here. Step
Yeah,
into
and
our
lucky for us, I think Smiddycould have seen if a bug happened, so Smiddyshould feel pretty comfortable that Ranmilia didn't move there. We waited a really long time before talking to get our first flirt here, which indicates that Ranmilia is worried that Smitty may be looking for insta-talks upon entering conversation. And certainly on a 3-5 like high rise, it's a lot easier for the sniper to notice things like that.
yeah. Um, although if we are, if the Smithy is flirt pairing here, definitely a pair that would make is Smallman and Oprah, or however they call those characters. Just because we weren't very subtle about our flirt, we went right to him, stood next to him, talked a bit, and now we've got 34%.
Yeah, and we have taken a drink, which is another way to lose suspicion here. The laser is right on us. I don't know if that means anything. Probably
I
just resting
think,
it there.
yeah, I think that sometimes you just get laser burned for no reason by the sniper, and it kind of freaks you out, but it happens.
Yeah, and we're just idling in this conversation here. It looks like Ranmilia is trying to play a low-key game. Smallman looks like he's coming right back to us. Not as
Very
close as
friendly.
possible, but that works out really, really well for us. And even again, we waited a few seconds before talking. We're really making sure we don't make this flirt too obvious. And
Yeah.
it does look like he was close enough to get us up to 66%, which is great.
Yeah, and Smallman picking up the highlight for flirting with us. Fantastic.
That's wonderful. Yeah, I mean, we were the one who entered next to Smallman at the beginning, but maybe that wasn't noticed, just noticed Hare and Smallman next to each other. So when he returns to us here, it looks like he's the one instigating the flirt. And with Ranmilia not really going for missions, it looks like this could be a really good opportunity to frame Smallman, but now we're entering next to him, and that flirt pairing was noticed, so we could get in trouble for
And
this.
look at that seduction cancel. He doesn't actually leave the pad, but because he's an AI, deciding to pick up that briefcase, technically he has left the pad. Technically speaking.
Yeah.
As the spy, you're always on the pad you're standing on, even if you're briefcasing. That's why it's a hard tell if an AI talks to someone holding a briefcase when they're the only two in a circle, because the AI holding the briefcase would not be able to be talked to if they were actually the AI they are.
Yes, and Smallman just went to center statues, and that's 2 briefcase pickups from Smallman. He got one earlier when he first left from that first flirt, then he got the other one at the pad, then he went to statues. And that's sort of the classic situation with seduction targets. If you're not able to flirt with them because they're doing something, well, that means they're doing something and they could get shot.
Yeah, but only 15 seconds left, and the DA is he's out of conversation. We can't contact for him.
No.
The fake contact comes off and just now joining.
Oh no, if we had
Oh,
waited until
the
Smallman
contact
joined.
the contact does come off right as Smallman joins, but it's over. There's no overtime, and because that contact
No.
comes off after 10 seconds, the Smitty is just allowed to hold their shot and wait for overtime.
Yeah,
And
that's really unfortunate. I think that if Smallman had ever entered conversation with an SDA and we got a banana bread off, it was very possible for Smallman to be shot, but it just didn't line up for us.
yeah,
Yeah, that was really
and
unfortunate. What I would have probably done in this situation, you can see, like when Renmilia approaches Smallman at this pad with the briefcase there to flirt, I think it would have been a good idea to pick up that briefcase and then flirt, just to prevent Smallman from picking it up himself.
perhaps. Although I don't know if the briefcase changes when they decide to path away. So,
Yeah,
um,
well, but if you pick up the briefcase before Smallman even decides to pick it up, then
then he might just decide to path somewhere else.
yeah,
But I'm not sure exactly how that works. I don't think anyone is sure exactly how that
yep.
works. Anyways, that's Ranmilia losing the spy game because they ran out of time. Now it's 3-2, still in their favor, but trying to keep the lead. Going into the next game on Sniper on High Rise in 3-2-1, playing it.
Smitty controlling boots, also known as buns, and it looks like we're chasing after our seduction target. We almost got them over at the window, and we are just following them into conversation. but might have been worried it was a little obvious, and also there was no spot next to Kane, so we had to enter across from him. We still get 24%, which is pretty good because it's a smaller conversation circle, so we don't get that dreaded lower 17 on a bigger circle could have happened.
Yeah, but we do need a green to make a 3 flirt happen even. If we don't get hit in the greens, we will be looking at perhaps a 4 flirt, which even on a high rise, which has a lot of time that the Smitty could take flirts here, it's just not very optimal to be flirting for so long.
Yeah, and the ambassador has been leaving prints around. There is one on this statue, and now there's another one on the blue bookcase. And when the ambassador leaves a lot of prints, it can be sort of a double-edged sword because not only does it mean there's more prints for you to get, it also means there's more prints for the sniper to track. So it's easier for you to get them, harder for them to be tracked. And
And
Smitty could
AIs
go
can
for
pick
the
him up
other
as
one
well.
here. The
Yeah,
ambassador is returning to the blue bookcase now.
Yeah, they're just returning with that book to put it back. Let's hear it. Should be having a second flirt just now if we can start that. Yep, 58%. Definitely going to be looking at a four flirt unless we hit a green test closely next time. So
And Smitty's camera is moving around, watching the ambassador, maybe eyeing that blue bookcase. The ambassador was just there, but it could be a good opportunity to go for it if you want to get that early progress. We are requesting a drink because the ambassador just took a drink, and that means we can get the second fingerprint from this. And that's
we
a
didn't even have to
harder to
request
track.
that. We didn't even have to request that. It was just going to go to us naturally. There was no one else who had their hands open nearby except for us. And that means a drink print, and that means we got fingerprints done. One more flirt and a contact will mean the mission win countdown. Green flirt happens, so now we just need to contact here. Oh, but
Oh
the
no, the safety is off on us. It looks like that drink print was more suspected than we thought, or I would say maybe less than suspected. It was threatening, if we're making the distinction there, because it's not suspicious for Toby to have come over to us with that tray. As you said, we were the natural next target, but it does make us a threat since we had the other print from the statue.
yeah, and that means that this contact is going to be difficult. Oh my goodness, we're just gonna go into statues here,
With
and
the
that is
safety already off on us
another.
earlier, we should get shot here,
Yeah,
and it happens.
it's just another way for us to complete. That's not the contact, and that means that the Smitty takes the bullet. Ranmilia stays in the lead at 4-2, and now the Smitty's still trying to find that way back into this set. If this continues happening, just 1-1 sniper spies, just 1-1 each time we go around, Ranmilia will eventually win this. And reminder, Ranmilia was the underdog coming into this match, so we'll see if the Smitty can bring it back in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Ranmilia is stepping into the spy side now as Kane taking an immediate chaos bug on the ambassador, but it doesn't even land.
It doesn't.
Probably wasn't
That was
his.
very difficult to see, though. The arm was going out towards the sniper, and even though we landed in conversation after the bug, where most characters would normally have their hands move back to their center mass, Kane leaves his hand at his side, so it doesn't even we don't even get the snap back for that. So it's very very difficult to see. I don't think it's suspected at all.
Yeah, and it's also just, I mean, not a time when a bug was going to take because we were just moving around. We weren't super close, and so a sniper might not even be thinking that a bug could have happened there at all. So it's not something they might have been guarding super closely enough.
Yeah. So that means 34% flirt is all we've got so far, but we don't even have we don't have any other suspicions either.
No, we are in conversation with the double agent. Never mind, they leave, and we leave immediately after them. We're heading over to the bookshelf here, maybe looking to get a first fingerprint,
Yep,
and
that's
that's exactly what
exactly
it
the
is.
case. We do pick up the highlight for the fingerprint, unfortunately, so it's not going unseen. And if we try to finish, we could try to go finish at that center statue that the ambassador's at currently after we finish our flirt, but I don't think we get away with that, especially after we pick up especially after we've picked up this fingerprint.
No, and I mean, I don't know exactly what Smitty highlights for, but a lot of people do highlight for statues on high rise. So if you're getting highlight for a print, it probably means something about the way you went for it was particularly suspicious, and that would indicate that Ranmilia is a clear suspect here.
Yeah. However, 67% flirt, just 1% over what we need to make a close white flirt possible. We haven't had any Tobo moments this cast, which I'm sure Tobo will be very happy about when we ask him about it later.
The ambassador is leaving another print over on the blue bookshelf now. I believe the print on the center statues is still there if we wanted, but that would probably get us shot. Instead, we're immediately going to get the print off of this blue bookshelf. That's really suspicious timing to go for it right after the ambassador has left it there. But it looks like
Yeah.
we're not getting shot for it.
Well,
Either
the
we're
contact
not
hasn't come off
suspected
yet.
or we're waiting for a contact. Yes.
Exactly. There's no reason to take the shot until the contact comes off, and here it comes. White contact contact as well. I think we just die for
And the
this.
underbred.
My guess
Probably.
is we're going to get shot immediately.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, it does not get away with that kind of blatant fingerprinting. Um, not, and neither of these players have tried to frame very much, even on 3 of 5 here. So definitely, they're both more tilted towards just completing your missions and seeing if you don't get shot. In this case, Ranmilia does get shot, bringing us to 4 and 3.
Alright, and then TheSmiddy finally realizing the best strat is just to be Smallman.
Oh God. All right. The best strat begins in 3, 2, 1. Playing it.
Yeah, and High Rise isn't necessarily one of the venues where Smallman is a top pick. We are walking right by the ambassador. We start a bug, but we started it a little bit early. We tried to bounce into them to make sure that it took, but despite our best efforts, it did not take.
Yeah, and we are in this conversation kind of across from our seduction target. Seduction target even leaves, but we did get that 25% off, so getting this flirtation cooldown expiring will be very good for us.
Yeah, and the fact that we were Smallman and there were some people in the front conversation. We're
Well,
trying
that's
it
a bug.
again. We did the bug a second time. And what I was just saying is the fact that there are people in that front conversation might have made it hard to see our arm sticking out. You know, Wheels is right behind the ambassador there, might have been covering our arm. Either way, that's what SmidDy was hoping for. And it looks like it succeeded because we tried it twice and we're only getting our first highlight for statues. And that's good for SmidDy to know because SmidDy can clearly tell that that laser just came onto him for the statue visit, which means that he knows that he wasn't highlight for the bug attempt, which means he can infer that he got it off clean.
Yeah, and the sniper can fake that kind of thing if you're already suspicious of someone and think they might be the spy, and they go to statues, and you're someone who highlights for statues. You hover over them a little bit, think they just now picked up the highlight, and they feel a little bit more emboldened. However, in this case, the laser is completely honest, Ranmilia just highlighting for statues, and now we're looking at a contactless complete for this game.
Yeah, and it's really strong to do that with a bug. You know, we've seen people try to attempt contactless completes with fingerprints and statues, but in that case, you are still doing noticeable mission progress. But if your bug wasn't seen, it's a lot easier to get away without contacting because the sniper just has no idea that you are the spy.
Yeah, and what you don't want right now is actually to have a really good contact show up, just like this one. Actually, this is a really nice contact. Up until Taft left. If that shows up suddenly, it doesn't look that nice to go finish at statues. If you want to finish at statues, you don't want that contact to happen. You don't want a good contact to show up because in a spy who didn't get a bug would always take a good contact.
And the underbred.
And we are taking it. I don't know how good it is right now. We were the only one in conversation with the double agent, but
Yeah,
luckily
but
the SDA was in the other
SDA.
conversation.
Yeah, and so it looks like we're not going to be finishing statues, which is just a fine thing to do. You just have to cut one of the other two missions. Since the bug is not seen, I don't think it matters that much that we're doing contact over statues here.
No, the
And
same
looks like
thing applies. The sniper is expecting a contact, so you can get away with a contactless win, but they are also expecting you to go back to statues. You know, they might be looking at Smallman thinking, well, he went to statues once. If he's the spy, he's going to go back to statues again.
oh
No! 99% flirt.
You know, I
It's not
jinxed it.
unsalvageable. There's 40
I-
seconds left. We can get out of
Oh,
this conversation and we can.
I don't think that there's any issues here. I think we'll finish just fine. But it just it hurts your heart to see it.
No, the
Turbo
only way we could
cries in the
fail.
distance.
The only way we could fail is if Taft went on a briefcase chase, but he's not. We can enter next to him, and we can get the flirt off without insta-talking, and still get it off before overtime, hopefully.
Yeah. And here comes the flirt. Oh, we're being looked at a little bit though. I don't know
Yeah.
if
Oh no, why are we leaving after this flirt? Are we
we're
dancing?
trying to dance in the back.
Wow, Smiddy thought that he was more suspicious than he was with that dancing.
Ranmilia is kind and respects the dance. Decides not to shoot.
Respects the dance strat.
Yeah.
And that means that as a that thing that Smitty was trying to do, you know, bringing it back to even to tie it up, they've done it, and now it is what 4-4
It
after
is.
the first two venues.
And
Yeah,
we're off
and it
to
makes sense.
Aquarium.
Yeah, it makes sense that Ranmilia wouldn't see the dancing there because you wouldn't even necessarily think that Smallman was going to dance. I mean, you just don't think that Smallman was done. He hadn't finished inspects, he hadn't finished fingerprints, and you didn't see the bug. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you see somebody dance, they're, you
They're
shoot
probably
them.
the spy.
You shoot them.
absolutely, I just
Even
think you're
if
a
you
little.
don't,
Yeah,
even
it's
if
just-
you don't think they're done.
Yeah, the
You're
thing
more
is
primed to see the dance if
exactly
you think
if you think they're about to be done, or if you think they are done,
contact.
then
Yeah.
it just doesn't look like dancing in this case. You don't process it as dancing immediately, and that's
No, I thought
and
Smallman
that's-
was just walking over to the back conversation for a moment. It wasn't a super obvious dance.
Yeah.
It was like a nice.
Well, he walked over there, then he walked right back, and. But anyway, yeah.
Aquarium.
I mean, we're grading dances now. It was, it was at least a 6, I'd say.
It was a nice dance, very elegant.
Or anyway,
All right,
off to Aquarium now. The
Yeah.
newest map with a gigantic shark that swims past the sniper every once in a while.
Yeah, sharks.
Yeah.
And 3, 2, 1, playing it.
and Ranmilia playing Taft here. We're starting right next to the ambassador, but we're AI controlled, so we don't take a bug.
It would have been a
And,
really nice bug too, actually, because we were behind the shark entirely.
Yeah,
Really
so this is
unfortunate.
another counter pick from Ranmilia. I believe they like to pick Aquarium against more experienced players, since it's a newer map, and so some of the experienced players aren't necessarily as comfortable with it yet, whereas a newer player who's only been playing for a couple months is just as experienced with Aquarium as anything else.
Yeah, and we get the early flirt, a very, very standard opening. Looks like we're actually going to go pick up even more progress on this flirt by stepping next to our section tucker who had left us. So lots of early progress in the flirt, which is, you know, we've been seeing a lot of issues with trying to get a flirt done late recently. And so getting this flirt done this early on definitely can be strong. Allows you
Yeah.
to free up your pacing a little bit.
And Aquarium is definitely a map where you do have a lot of time for the flirt just because you have 4 minutes, so it's not necessarily a place you need to rush it, but getting it done quickly just
In the
frees you
red.
up to pick your spots. And we
this
do
is a
take
really
a
nice contact here.
split immediately. Low light's coming off, and we were splitting behind the shark, so we may not have been noticed for it. Do we get a low light? The laser is on us, it's watching us,
You know,
but
considered it, and I think like this is one of those things where the sniper just goes, you know, I don't think this is a safe low light to take, but they didn't see the split, so they don't pick up the highlight for it.
difficult fingerprint on the briefcase. We don't get it, but we get an easy return to the ambassador. We're not wasting a lot of time here. We sip and we cancel it to walk away, fishing for that low light for AI behavior. Because that's
Yeah.
something the AI
Was
do
that
when
a-
they're
was
returning
that
a
a-
briefcase.
Is that an aquarium pun?
Sorry?
You said fishing
Oh.
for the
Oh.
low light?
God, no, not even on purpose. And we are delegating over to Duke here. And
Duke doesn't
what
care.
is Duke
He has a book in
doing?
hand.
Yeah,
has a
Duke
book in
is going to
hand.
jam his book into the bookcase. So when you delegate to someone who's already holding a book, before they go to the bar, they have to put the book away. So they walk over to the briefcase and they jam it in
The
immediately.
bookcase, rather.
What did I say?
briefcase.
Lol.
Don't worry, I've made the same mistake before. Anyways, we do need one more flirt, 4%. Again, that's below the threshold of 17%.
Yeah, and it looks like the purloin didn't go off. The timer expired because of Duke taking his time putting away that book, and now we are running low on progress. A minute 20 left. We need to finish this flirt, and we're doing that. We can do it from all the way across the conversation because it was at 96%. And so even with that early flirt progress, we see we're still struggling to complete it here. So even though I talked about how Aquarium has a lot of time, time goes faster than you think.
Yeah, for sure. And that means that we've only got 2 missions done. And really, it's the 2 easiest missions. We're not on gallery anymore. Flirting and contacting are much more smoother, much more smooth on venues like Aquarium. So we definitely need to start looking to try to get hard tells done.
We're walking over to the bar. It looks like we have 2 options here. The ambassador is leaving a
Oh
print, but it'll
man.
be really hard to get another print in the last 30 seconds. But we can delegate. If we're desperate, we might even just straight up take the list.
And we do. And that, I think we are credited with 2 fingerprints here. We did have that briefcase return earlier, and imagine if we had gotten the.
It's not noticed though. Are we going to try a bug here next to the ambassador?
You needed to do it while the sniper was staring right into the shark.
Oh no, Ranmilia was trying to do a twitch bug, just taking a little step
Yeah,
next
definitely
to the
too far
ambassador and
away for
bugging.
that.
Yeah, it wasn't going to work. But it's still impressive that we got away with that purloin without being seen. There was no reaction from SpyParty, but it's... Whoa, green time ad? Wow.
Yeah, and that means that there will be OT. I think we're the biggest suspect right now from TheSmiddy.
I
So we're
think
gonna
we
go
should
take this
be.
briefcase, and as soon as this overtime happens, it looks like we're probably going to die. I don't. Do we? So one consideration.
Oh no.
We do get shot, but one consideration to make there is to wait on actually taking the fingerprint. Don't take the fingerprint until like much later, until you're right about to put it down. And it kind of throws the sniper off. They expect the overtime to come as soon as you pick up that briefcase, and it doesn't. So later on, they might be looking for someone else being done, but unfortunately, we don't decide to do that. We don't take the slightly more percentage points play of waiting on that fingerprint just a little bit, and instead we just get shot for it.
Yeah,
And
and that's just a
right,
consequence of having to rush 2 missions in the last minute.
Yeah, I would have done my best to grab that briefcase and just hide behind the shark.
yeah,
Yeah, the
and
shark was crossing right in front of us at the
Yeah.
time. If we had gone a little higher, maybe.
and the thing is about that game, if we had hit that difficult fingerprint on the first briefcase, we win. That game is we finish that game, the purloin comes off, and we get all the time in the world, way more
Yeah.
than 10 seconds, and we get away with it.
Yeah, I think
Unfortunately,
if they were a little if they were close enough for that bug, that might have won it for them. Because
yeah,
they got away with the animation, but maybe SpyParty was aware that they weren't close enough and wasn't worried about it.
and for the first time in this set, the SpyParty takes the lead.
And also, I believe first time in this cast we see Orange Sari.
Yeah, that is the first time, I believe, that we have seen her. So
Hopefully not the last.
Oh,
Don't
God, please
don't
no
let us
more.
down, Fun Noob and Bananaconda.
Well, it's not a Scallion set, so I think we'll be fine. In any case, orange dress, hopefully the last one in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
And we're starting off by immediately walking by the ambassador and trying a bug. This wasn't quite behind the shark, but it was a chaos bug. Hard to see, even though it just didn't take, unfortunately.
No progress on that, although we wished we did have that progress. Now we're walking over to the ambassador again, kind of. We're also next to our seduction target, so a lot of things
The low
that we
shark
could
is
do around
passing. We
here.
could go for some sort of cheesy bug here where we walk towards the ambassador and bug them while we're behind the shark, but the ambassador
are left
leaves, so we
sharks?
won't even have the opportunity.
There are left sharks? I didn't realize.
And it looks like we're heading over to the bookcase. It's going to be too late to do a microfilm transfer behind the low shark,
Yeah, looks like
but
we
we
just
just
take this
grab
book
the
out,
book and leave.
and it might just be something to reset our flirt cooldown with our seduction target here.
Could also be a good time to take the book out without being noticed. The ambassador was at the bottom conversation with a shark passing, so the sniper could have been looking at that. What are we laughing
So,
at?
I thought we might just be going straight from bookcase to bookcase with this book, but the SpyParty kind of just curves right into the window pad here. So,
No, Orange Dress not the best character to rush from bookcase to bookcase with because she cannot rush because she is slow.
and well, that's Flirt Gone in 2. Fantastic.
I mean, after last game, it does feel good to have the flirt progress done quickly. We're not going to have to be chasing it. Are we going to the bookcase now? We are.
Yeah?
Not a lot of spacing out between these visits. Could be easy to remember, and it isn't. The sniper laser moves over to us, but it's just highlighting Disney, and we got away with that.
Yeah, and that's looking really good for the SpyParty right now. Could just finish up with maybe statues and a contact if you want.
Yeah, and that's the thing about microfilm. It is a hard tell. If the sniper sees you
In the
doing it,
red.
you get caught and shot. But if you're not seen, it leaves no trace, and they have no reason to be suspicious of you if they just didn't notice it.
Yeah,
Contact
and
coming off, low lights being taken by
yeah, and
Ranmilia, and we split, but we don't get one.
along with Bug, oh, we just take the drink immediately, and we only
Whoa!
pick up the highlight for it. I don't think that Ranmilia is on this. It's just a rush here from the SpyParty after getting away with that microfilm. Decides, hey, I'm not suspicious at all. I've got my flirt done in 2. I can just finish up this game right here, right now, and does it. That
Yeah, and
means
that's
that
exactly what I was saying about microfilm. If it's not noticed, you don't get suspected. That highlight basically means, hey, I just saw Orange Sari take the list, but I don't think she's done anything else, so I can wait and see if someone delegated to her, or maybe just take a moment to think if she did it herself, because you
yeah,
just don't know if she's done.
and that's the power of a rush. They don't expect you to be done, so they even if you do a hard tell in their face, they might think, okay, I can just narrow down this party and wait. In reality, they got 10 seconds to shoot you, and they don't.
And nobody expects Orange Sorry to rush.
Of course not. And that means that the SpyParty has locked up at least a tie in this set, despite kind of being down for a lot of it. Has made a run of, I believe, 4 games to bring it back into his favor. And
Yeah,
now Ranmilia trying to play for the tie on their spy side on Library.
great.
In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
And like I was saying earlier, this is a map that both players are comfortable with. SpyParty picks it a lot, and it is Ranmilia's most comfortable map. Ranmilia is immediately going in for inspects. Could swap the statue here if you
Oh,
think
the
the
swap
sniper didn't
happened.
see it, and it
But
does.
The SMIDI definitely saw that statue. Definitely took a good long look at it just to make sure they knew they had it. I don't know if I don't know that Ranmilia is just going to survive very long
Oh
into this
no, are
game.
we about to
Looks
get
over at the
shot?
statues, and that's the
Yes.
shot, and that's the game. And that's the match, even.
Yeah, that is.
Ranmilia-
Unfortunately, I feel like the problem partly was that Ranmilia was just a little bit too far to the right here, and gave too much of that statue visibility. I think if Ranmilia stepped a bit more to the left, more in the center, or even a little bit past center, they would have been much better blocked.
All right. And that means that's the entire set. Ranmilia, unfortunately, not able to keep the lead, and the SMIDI takes 5 games in a row to make that win happen. And now we'll be moving on to our next set over in Platinum.
Yep, we get